it requires honesty, patience, understanding to work. Today we are pulling back the curtain on what truly happens behind closed doors, how communication breaks down, how expectation clash, and how small habits can either build a home or tear it apart. Welcome to today's episode of Breaking Vows, where people share real experience. I'm here with two amazing guests, and together we are digging into conversations many couples afford but desperately need. We are not here to judge. We are here to learn and unlearn and to help someone outside there facing silent battle in their relationship. So sit tight, open your mind, and let's talk about the things that save marriages and those things that destroy them. This is Breaking Vows, and today I'm having with me my amazing girls. Madam, please, can we know you?
Yes, thank you very much for having me. My name is Becky Emebu.
Wow.
And I've been married for 11 years.
Wow.
And I have two beautiful daughters to show for it.
Wow.
And I have an amazing guy too.
Oh, glory be to God.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Sir.
Okay, my name is Oluwaseun Odidi, and are we sharing the same?
Coincidentally, yeah, I would
We're
say.
sharing the same year. Well, it's a joyful one to have a reason to talk about marriage and couples challenges, and we would love to share and discuss and see how we go about the whole discussion. But primarily is to see how to relieve people or individual of their challenges. So many are out there not speaking out. So many are out there dying inside. But talking about this is just an experience to just pour out that which you find difficult to pour out.
Wow.
And I feel in the pool of the discussion, I'm sure someone out there will get a little relief.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on the show too. Madam, let me start with you.
Yeah.
In every marriage, there is a challenge. I'm 100% sure there is no 100% perfect marriage. I don't want you to be too passionate in your response. Is there any challenge in your marriage and that you want to let the viewer know and how you handle it?
Okay, so like you said, I shouldn't be too personal, but if I want to generalize, in marriages, truly, there's no perfect marriage, quote and unquote. Every marriage has its ups and its downs. And of course, that's why we're here today, to expose some of these things, to talk about it. But in most marriages that we have today, the number one problem I have seen in most marriages, at least by the grace of God, I've been in marriage for 11 years, so I can use that, my experience, to talk about your marriage is still coming up. I'm not saying I'm old in marriage, but yes, at least I can say to an extent, I've crossed that landmark. The landmark used to be 10. I don't know if it still is, but then for 11 years in marriage and new marriages I've seen that's come up after my own, I can say one problem that has constantly shocked marriages, pushed them, tossed them, is usually understanding. Marriage is a case of two people coming from two different worlds, two homes. You were brought up in one certain way, the other party was brought up in another way, and then they have to come together to make a whole. Of course, there will be misunderstanding. There's this popular examples of challenges in marriage that we used to hear then. I don't know if they still use it in marriage counseling now. I really don't know if that's what happens. This case study of toothpaste, when the one spouse will want to open the toothpaste from the top and the other likes it opened from below, and we've heard of cases where marriages have been scattered through that. I just think it's understanding. If you have understanding, what is there?
Well, let me interject.
Yes,
you're
please.
talking about understanding. Can there be understanding without communication?
Yes.
So I think communication should be the starting point. Now,
It could
because in me and you having to talk is where you either choose to understand or choose not to understand.
It's true.
And in doing that, that leads to conflict. conflict of interest. I speak right, or I speak because I'm the man, or you speak right because you're the woman, or you speak right because you are assuming that it's taking you for granted because you're a weaker vessel or you're a female or something. So now, the communication basis needs to be well understood before and after marriage or going into a relationship.
Yeah.
Those are some basic lines. And again, let's not shy away from a topic called finance. Before romance, let's speak the finance part of it. For every friendship, relationship, and marriage, finances has a role it plays. It's not about have plenty. There is a difference between have plenty and have enough. Have enough is what we're looking at. Whereby you can be able to see to the need of the one you call your spouse or your wife. Your ability to be able to see to that can relieve the relationship in landing properly. And how would you still know when there's no proper communication in this finance understanding? My husband earns so naira, my wife earns so this, but we've not spoken on that basis. We've not communicated. She would not understand. I would not understand. She would tell me she wants to make a love deal. Because I don't understand, I'm wondering, like, are you blind? Like, you cannot really see that the finances is not measurable to the hair you're buying. And to her, you're selfish, you're working. Can't you provide? Don't you see other men provide for their wife? Or for them? So you get it. But we've communicated, or we're about communicating. It's when you now know and understand your spouse's perspective in everything we need to get. What do we need to do? When we get, how do we go about it? And when we go about it, how do we manage to sustain all of this?
Wow. Thank you very much. But sir, you raised the issue of finance in a relationship, which is very, very important. And I agree with you that when there is a communication in a relationship, it moves the marriage or relationship more faster and better way. But are you saying that a wife, or let me say a spouse rather, doesn't have rights to request for whatever she wants from her husband based on the financial?
Well, truthfully, the Almighty that had created man had knew that man has come to this world to face many challenges. So we would just automatically say that the woman has the right to make her demands, right? But logically, what we have to say is that we know either through economy, situation, or through some other challenges, man might not be able to demand financially, which makes the table turn a bit, whereby your other spouse is the one having a reason to manage some certain things, which also could be a little short time if the man understand that he is a man with responsibility. It means that in that short while, he is expected to rise up to meet up demands. So the woman has automatic ticket to make demands, but it requires wisdom for such woman to manage a man in such situation. That is the more reason why you have conflict in marriages, whereby when the table turns, the man's ego is being buried. And psychologically, you start feeling threatening. How can the lioness become the king of the forest when the lion still remains? But the lion gave the lioness a room for her to blossom and kill the sheep just for the family to eat. Or do you think it's only the lion that hunts? No. But because he is the king of that universe, that is why we focus on him alone. The lion kills all, but the lioness does kill. So let's not give out our responsibility because of challenges. But yet, when challenges come, let the other spouse be able to bridge in the gap. That's where the communication line and love speaks.
Wow.
Can I add to what he has just said regarding finance?
Yeah.
Okay, like I said in the beginning, understanding. You know, if a couple understand each other too. Finance shouldn't be too much of a problem. Okay? It is a problem in some marriages, but that's because they don't understand each other. If you understand each other, communication will be easy. It will be seamless. You understand? It's a two-way thing. If one person is talking and the other person is not understanding, there's no communication. You understand? If one person has the money and even the other person does not know how to manage the money, there will still be problems. Do you understand? And if one person at the same time is not doing his responsibility, standing up to his responsibility, there will still be problems. If there are interferences from outside, there will still be problems in the marriages. These are some of the things that causes challenge. But for finance, if there is understanding, the woman who we say, okay, has the tickets to always ask. For me, it wasn't always rosy in marriage, okay? Let me use myself as an example. It wasn't always rosy. I did not just get here today. I did not just get here overnight. You know, it was a process. When I started with my husband, it wasn't, we were not, in fact, where we were we started in a one-room and parlor apartment. All we had was a mattress on the floor. There was no bed. There was no TV, there was no furniture, there was no electronics. The sitting room was a hall, you know, that kind of open space. Okay, but it was understanding. We knew that the fact that we are here today doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. But I know most young girls today, they hardly have this understanding. And I think this will also bring us back to the home training some people have today. You understand? If you have a good upbringing, you have a good home training, that's why we as parents today, we should do better in the way we bring up our children, so that they don't become problems tomorrow in their own homes. You understand? I'm not saying it's wrong for us to give our children all they want. It's not wrong, but let them understand that life is not a bed of roses. You understand? And then, if they have this understanding, come on. When I was in my father's house, I wasn't suffering, but I entered into marriage and it was not all rosy. I did not run home to go and meet mommy and daddy. Do you understand? I didn't run home or cry to mommy or cry to daddy that see what is happening. This is not the way you told me. No, I understood that it's a process. So finance in marriage shouldn't be too much of an issue if there is understanding. Understand? Yeah.
Now look at it. I'll change the table a bit. Okay. Now let's look at the table of romance.
Okay.
With the situation happening in court, how do you think you can function romantically and still be able to manage a home, knowing fully well the quest for survival, the quest to manage jobs, the quest to manage time, and other societal demands? How do you think this romance will be like?
Lies on money.
Lies on money. Okay. Let's not leave the money part, because we will not make marriage work because of money. But money is driving a lot of people crazy in China, which makes romance not visible.
But sir, sorry, let me cut you short a bit. Let's take for instance the issue of Ned and
Regina Daniels.
When we are talking of understanding, I think to some extent they understood themselves before they married, go to the court. Is now. And when we are talking of finance, both of them are financially okay. So what can we say happened in between two of them that made their marriage?
She should answer.
Why should I answer?
Because she said understanding. Me, I said communication. Finance.
Yeah.
Now you've answered my question by saying that the finances are okay.
Yes.
So she should explain the part of understanding of what happened.
Yeah. If you look at the case of Regina Daniels and Ned, I actually wasn't following the story from the beginning, but from what I know, there's a generational gap between them.
Yeah.
There is a generational gap between them. The way Ned Moko would treat marriage in his days is different from the way Regina Daniels' generation will treat marriage. So there is definitely a communication gap and an understanding gap.
Which expectations of Regina is higher than the other party?
It could be, and it could also be that I wouldn't know anyway. I'm not in the marriage with them. Yes, but we're assuming. But it could also be a case. Yeah, it could also be a case of Ned being trying to be controlling. I think you mentioned something about, you know, trying to be the man, taking charge and all. It could also be a case of him trying to be controlling, and the young lady is saying, "Oh, Gone are those days. This is not marriage, how marriage works now. I would not take that. You understand? I have a voice. I have a life. I have a career. I'm a person. I'm a whole person. I don't need you to live my life for me. Do you understand? So it could work both ways. It could be a case of Ned trying to make her act as expected of women of his days, and it could be a case of she saying, no, you can't limit me to the 1960s or the 1970s or wherever your generation came from. Do you understand? So I think it could work both ways, but I think understanding was lacking, communication too was lacking seriously, and like I said earlier, there's a generation, in fact 2 generation gaps between them.
Almost 3.
Almost 3. Well, I don't know.
Let's borrow from Regina's perspective.
Okay.
Right. She's of the opinion that she wants to live her own life the way she wants it.
Okay.
And the man wants to be a man in the relationship. Is that the way it's supposed to be?
It's not wrong for the man to want to be in a relationship. I mean, to want to be in charge in the relationship, being the man, being, in quotes, being the man in a relationship. It's not wrong. It's not a bad thing. And she wanting to live her life is equally not a bad thing. But if they understood each other, I don't think that should have caused a problem. I think, if you ask me, I think there's more underlying stories to whatever is happening. It's just what they want us to see that we are seeing. We might think it is communication gap, we might think it is financial gap, which will likely not even be the case. Okay? We might also think it's lack of understanding between 2 of them. It could also be character deficits. Maybe one of them has some shortcomings that the other cannot just deal.
Okay. Well, let's leave Regina Daniel and move forward. The love, or let me say relationship, has a 2 faces. Boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife. Can you, or let me just put it in this way, is the same love that we are portraying when we are doing boyfriend and girlfriend, is it the same love when we are doing husband and wife?
If you ask me, love is love.
Okay.
If one is truly in love, they're truly in love. Whether it doesn't end in marriage or it ends in marriage in the long run, love is still love. But most people mistake infatuation for love. That you have feelings for somebody, you like somebody. Sometimes physical appearance might just be enough to make you feel like, oh, I'm in love. But that's not love. Okay, but if you really are in love, it's the same love in the church, it's the same love in the mosque, it's the same love in the world, it's the same love, boyfriend and girlfriend, if it is genuine, it's the same love in marriage. Why are 2 people who say they love each other marry and then tomorrow the marriage dissolves? It wasn't really love. And it could be love too, but of course, like you said, underlying factors, finance, love we go chop for marriage. So you understand, it's for me, love is love. But however people now begin to portray it, or however people begin to understand it, or leave it out, or work it out, is a different ballgame entirely. Okay. But love, it means the same thing. It's love.
So do you have anything?
Okay, in addition to what she said about the love of a relationship and the love of marriage. Now, the love of marriage gives you a level 5 test of your genuinity. Now, the love of a relationship, you can choose to walk away. Some walk away can still bring you back, but some walk away is a test of how the tomorrow might look. And for the one of the marriage, the love tells you how enduring, how patient, or how sincere you are, or how bad or wicked you are. Because some start the journey with love, and in the middle of the marriage, you're seeing different things entirely. There you can't go back. Not that you can't go back, but nobody encourages that being divorced. But you went in with love. You started with love, but something happened along the way. So it means that you are not just walking in love. You need to find a way to sustain it. Because sustaining it is what, should I say, most marriages are lacking. Sustaining it. They feel the yesterday love is yesterday love. The today love you still. What happens to tomorrow? Tomorrow you get injured or have accident. What happens? You lose your job, you lose your finances. What happens?
That's where the love comes in. It's genuine.
Do you understand? Many things could come in between the line. So how do you sustain it if you're just playing on the boyfriend-girlfriend stage? The boyfriend-girlfriend stage is a starting point. It's a journey. It's just like a baby.
Yeah.
The baby grows from tooth to fish teeth and all of that and all of that before it becomes adult. So they are all in categories, but the defined word of it is still the word love. But how do you sustain that?
Thank you very much. We have a couple, they understand themselves. Financially, they are okay. But there are external factors also that we need to look at, like family, friends. Do they have any role to play in sustaining a marriage?
Yeah, it's always a lady.
Okay. For me, I think no third party should have a role to play in marriage except you allow them. And that's one standard I have lived by in my home. No third party. In fact, on my wedding day, I remember my husband telling me, the priest who was officiating on the day of my wedding, he told us, he said, there is no marriage without challenges. And do you know what my husband did? We were right there at the altar, and my husband whispered to me, he said, our home will have no challenge. And truly it has been like that. Because we had guiding principles. We had hard truths. We tell ourselves hard truths. You understand? We tell ourselves bitter truths. Some things you don't want to hear, but I'll tell you. One of the, maybe we'll still get to that, how we come by, how we get by daily in a home. I'm not saying there are no challenges, but not the kind of challenges that will break apart a home. You understand? When you say challenges, there are degrees of challenges. It's challenges that make some people divorce. It's challenges that make the woman that killed her husband to do what she did. You understand? And it's still challenges that will make you see your husband in the morning and not want to greet him. Or you just wake up on the bad side of you. Is it in pregnancy that you want to talk about? Sometimes when we are pregnant, we don't even know what is. Our brains are not even clicking. We are just wired in one way that even the men don't understand sometimes. I get that. I've experienced it that it's understanding comes in, honestly, it plays a huge role. Okay? So when it is like that, for me, I think that in marriage, once you have understanding, a good number of deal breakers will be sorted. So for young marriages of today, I think they still lack understanding of who you are truly. Some people don't even know themselves very well. Talk more of knowing the other person. Do you understand? So for third parties in marriage, if you allow them, they will have an influence. But if you don't allow them, forget it. Your home will go well. And some people use that not allowing third parties in marriage to now do the worst in their homes. Such marriages, I will advise that 440, get the third party involved. When a man is doing what he should not do and is lording it over the woman because you don't want third party and the woman now dies in silence, no. In that kind of situation, please stop. Even fourth party is very necessary, not third anymore. You understand? There was one of the counseling sessions I gave to one of the young couples I know. What I told them is that know somebody that this guy will respect. That even if you talk to him, he doesn't hear. By the time you call to that person, it might not be his parents, so it might be somebody who is like a mentor to him or something. And the same thing goes for the woman. Know somebody that she really respects, that she cannot say no to. So if she's doing things that consistently you're trying to talk to her and she doesn't want to, just have that person. It's not as if that person is the go-to person at all times. No. But just have it like a backup plan. Do you understand? If daddy has somebody he respects, you get, and I've been trying to tell daddy something, and daddy is not hearing me. If I just call, I might not even directly report it, but there's a way I will tell whoever the mentor or the respected person is, and he will call this person and ask. You will just be surprised that that will not even as if he had a conversation with the other person. He will just come and say, what was it you were talking about the other time? It might not happen like that in all situations, but most times, third party interference are very wrong. It's usually advised not to.
I'm looking at it in another perspective.
Okay.
Now, let's look at not having quality time with your partner. Might actually lead you to want to have a third party to hear you. Okay. Now, A practical example could be that maybe he's trying to work out the finance, and peradventure you are now housewife, a full-time housewife, and the only time you see him is probably in the morning when he's stepping out, and in the night when he comes in to have his dinner. Now you know that gap of quality time will create a room for her to want to talk to somebody, spend time with someone, hang out with someone. Since it's still night, you come back, you still have me. Now, how would we advise or suggest to individuals in these categories that are indirectly lacking quality time with their spouse, which is now leading them to have a third party? In as much as you said third party is not good or is not advisable, in cases like this, because I keep saying marriage or couples matters or relationship matters does not have the same equilibrium. It means that it goes zigzag. You could see someone okay here in this category, another person is far on okay on another category. So we cannot accurately suggest the same formula for all, but rather than just try to look at all those possible options that might make one wants to do something wrong, or that is making someone do something wrong.
Okay.
Not.
Let me answer. You talked about third party in a case whereby one of the spouses is probably unavailable most times, right? I think that would be maybe. Are you? Let me give it a name. Are you talking about infidelity or something? Mm-hmm. Not in that sense, right?
You're looking at another person feeling somebody,
like just partner or something.
It could be anything, but there is another third person on the road. The husband and the wife is still on the two, but there is somebody. Now, the inconsequential part of it is either if it's a relative or is a external or something, but there's still a third party.
But I still maintain the person doesn't have to have an influence in the home. I could have a third party who is just a gist partner. So why do we time?
But you know some of those
I could have a third party
and still the influencer that gets you to do some of the wrong things that your husband.
Okay, let me speak for myself. Okay.
We have thousands of Nigerians.
Yes, I know. Like, let me speak for myself. Let me talk from my point of view. Okay. I might not be too. I might not cover the most range of women out there. I might not. I might be special. I might be peculiar. I don't know. But let me speak from my point of view. Now, when we're talking about third party, the fact that my husband is not even somebody that is always available. Okay, let me even just practically use myself as an example. My husband goes out in the morning. Funny enough, lately he does school runs to ease me the stress. And he comes back in the evening, very much late in the evening. The earliest he comes these days is like 6:37. In between those times, it's not like as if I don't talk to any other person. I make calls, I have friends. I even have a very good friend who is called Khadija, who we always, we're always found. When you see me, you might actually see Khadija. But it doesn't mean that Khadija knows 1% of what's happening in my home.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So she might be a third party, but she doesn't have an influence in my home. And the fact that I'm always mostly with Khadija as a person does not mean that I even know 0% of what is happening in our home. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So third party, quote and unquote, may be there, but them having an influence is where I am saying it is you. It depends on you, the couple and the spouse, whether you give them that power to have influence or not. So third party, because even your phone can be a third party. YouTube can be a third party.
Exactly, that's where I'm coming from. If we are talking of third party, mostly and especially new couples these days, whenever after they are married, they go out, they come back, we're always busy with our phones.
Even while we are together.
Yes. Your husband or your wife will be talking. Hey, I'm listening now. Okay, what do you say? Meanwhile, you are on Facebook, TikTok, or any other platform, chatting, watching films, watching those films.
Okay, I agree. But the truth is that, I'm not to justify for men or something, but each time counts a lot, right? It doesn't mean the presence does not count. We grew up from, if you backdate it, we grew up from a stage whereby we go for TV 4 o'clock and all of those lifestyle. It means that there was actually nothing to do than farm and TV by 4 o'clock and close 9 o'clock and all of that. That was the activity then. Now the activity of these generations and generations that are coming is being active, right? And it means that we have to find a way to be active with your partner or your spouse in another way. Does not justify that the holding of a phone is wrong or right, but it's just for them to find a way around it. But if I tell you, there's more to do on the phone, because as you are paying bills, your mind is calculating the madam's request, and to avoid more requests, you rather focus on finding a way to get the bills paid, because attempt to gist too much will lead to some requests in between.
Seriously, most of us, I'm not saying only men, right? Both partner, mostly whenever we are on phone, majority of us always be on phone for unnecessary things.
True.
If it is for business, yes, most of us are doing business online these days. But you do your business within 5-10 minutes, you are out of it. You have opportunity to drop your phone, concentrate on your phone.
It's a distraction. Just a creation to distract the home. But I'm sure for couples, they can actually work on making it better, but it's a big distraction. So everything is all about improvement, right? Once you detect that this man, maybe he thinks I'm about to ask for money, he's already on. So those are where you have a relationship understanding. To know, okay, you've been on that phone for 30 minutes. How far? You make it work out. It could be a spice to your relationship. It's not about the couples or even the single self. They say they are doing 10 people on the phone. So it's just for the random to just get it right.
And you could also find a system that works.
Wow.
If you communicate, like he said, and you both understand yourself, it's not so much of a problem. Find a system that works. It's not impossible that when you come back, probably the man has not even opened his phone all day.
Yes.
It's very possible that the man has not even opened his phone all day.
It happens.
And then the woman will just be that, you've been out all day, you came back now, you're not even paying attention to me. At that time, if I were the man, I would rather just drop my phone. Give her just 30 minutes. Sometimes we don't need too much as women know. We don't need too much. Just give us small attention. You don't do. You've become a dogo. And we remain your chalugo, sweetly for life.
I've got some women that prefers like personal independence. I'm not sure if I get it right. Like now, the man wants this independence. The woman wants to independent, but they are married. How you want to balance that?
Independence in the sense that the man can be on his own, the woman can be on his own, doing their own thing. If it works for them, why not?
So we just
if it works for them,
everybody still go back.
It's good. But no matter how independent they want to live their life, at some point they will still communicate. If not, if they don't communicate, they will drift apart. And once they drift apart, they become two different people. And one day they wake up and like, I don't even know who I'm married to.
And then you get to that.
Do you get so?
Same set of.
But if it works for them, why not?
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. But before we round it up, continue with you because I've been listening.
Yes.
We've talked about communication, we've talked about understanding, we've talked about finance and the effect of the third party on the relationship. What is your advice for our new couples?
There is no one shoe fits all. What works for A might not work for B.
True.
But one thing is certain: if you communicate and you understand each other even before marriage, you can't even know a person to the end. Even now, after 11 years in marriage, I will still tell you that I still learn 1 or 2 new things about my husband, and he will still tell you that he learns 1 or 2 things about me. Do you understand? But if you understand each other and you know what you want in a home, go into the marriage with understanding that this is how I want my home to be. This is the kind of home I want to build. Some people just marry because, oh, they chased me out of the house, I'm due for marriage. Oh, I'm already 33, I'm not married, I just want to bear somebody's name. You go into that marriage, at the end of the day, you will still come out. So, like I said, one advice doesn't work for just everybody. But one thing is constant: understanding, communication. Like you said in your introduction, trust, patience, it all works. You have to put in the work. It's not a bed of roses. You can't just go into marriage and expect that it will just work out itself. No. You have to be intentional. Okay? You have to be intentional. And overall, you have to love each other genuinely. If the love is not there, it will not last. It will just fizzle away.
Wow.
So,
thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, in addition to what she said, beyond all, I'm always capping that up, respect. Having all of this, if you're not presenting it,
let's forget faithfulness.
We'll get there. But the truth is that if you present all of these ingredients and you're not presenting it well with respect, it has no value in it.
Sure.
Because you cannot communicate effectively if it's not coming out respectfully. You will not talk disruptly and expect him to listen or give you the finance now.
Respect doesn't also just mean the wife to the woman.
Yes, it's both sides.
Thank you.
But you know that for a home to stand well, the woman has so much responsibility and role. A man can choose to be other way around because of the pressures all around him. But a sweet woman can reconfigure a damaged head.
No. Don't let's make excuses for the man.
We're not making excuses. We're only trying to say, in case you have that kind of category, you should be able to reconfigure and manage such case respectfully. Even when you know you're the one taking charge of the house as a female, respectfully allow him. I think maybe Alakija also spoke about how she becomes when she's making all her money and the husband and all of that. Things happen, but respect is one of it. Then two is the romance part. Both parties should always find a way to balance it.
Yeah.
Beyond the money, also find a way to see how to. Before it stays by moonlight. Now look at the new Taste by Moonlight and look what interests them. Go for movies and all of that. Man, create time. Woman, create time. So respect, activate romance, and try to create time to make
for each other. That's true.
Wow, thank you very much for coming and share your heart with us today.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Viewer, we've been watching our guests since pouring out their pure heart. So please, if this touched you and you really picked one or two things there, kindly share it with somebody that you know that needs it. And by God's grace, the next time that we're coming, we are still coming with more interesting people. Keep it up. Love you. Thank you.